Hey guys, Jayden from Tetra Football here. As you can tell, I'm not joined by any of the guys today. That's because I am in Wales on a 1 week holiday, and then next week I'm off to Crowborough, so you won't see me with them or George, Ryan, Joe, any of the lads for at least 2 weeks. But hey ho, I'm still here giving you my match week 3 predictions. So, as I say, we're here for the Premier League, or my Premier League match week 3 predictions. So let's dive straight into it. Starting off, we have Tottenham versus Wolves. Tottenham are at home. And talking of Tottenham, we'll talk about them first. In their game against Chelsea last weekend, they didn't look too bad for me. They were impressive in how they controlled the ball, but when it came to the attack, I think they lacked a bit of aggression and pushing forward. Same with Chelsea, really. But I would say Chelsea didn't deserve their first, while Tottenham didn't deserve their second. So, in the end, would have been a draw anyway. It is early season. We're into the third week of matches, so there's anything can happen. Which is why I'm expecting a Tottenham victory over Wolves, and here is why. Because Wolves, being the home side against Fulham last weekend, drew 0-0 to the newly promoted away side. It's just not good enough from them, from Wolves. I mean, they have the Premier League experience to batter Fulham, or if not batter, then grab the 3 points, sneakily grab it. But they just couldn't, and I mean, I'm not as disappointed as maybe Tom would be. If you haven't seen the video where we took the piss out of him for being a Wolves fan, there's the link in the description to go see that, which also happened to be my debut video. Yeah, I'm gonna, as I've already said, I am predicting a Tottenham win here, with the specific scoreline of 2-0 Tottenham. Again, Wolves they're not good. They're not good enough to do something to Tottenham, of all clubs. Top 6 club, I would say, with Wolves' Premier League experience. They're also trying to adapt and change things a bit too much, which is where they are starting to drop. 2-0 Tottenham. On to the next one. Everton home versus Nottingham Forest. Everton, I mean, they've lost both games on the bounce. They lost to Chelsea by a single penalty. Then they lost to Aston Villa 2-1. I don't know. Everton just don't seem to be Premier League worthy in my mind anymore. So I am assuming that they are going to get relegated by the end of the season. If not, then like last season, be very close to getting relegated. And if they don't fix it next season, then next season they will be relegated. There's no question of that. Nottingham Forest. What a game against West Ham. The Hammers, fans of West Ham, I'm sure you're probably very shocked to see Nottingham Forest, of every club that it could have been, Nottingham Forest that haven't been in the Prem for God knows how many years, and they come up, I think they lost their first, and then they come up, and then they beat a club like West Ham, who were in the top 4 race early last season, and then dropped off towards the end. I mean, I did have it down in my mind as a 1-0 Everton win, but after actually thinking about it, I reckon it will probably be a 1-1 draw. If not, then Nottingham Forest are winning that 2-1, even 2-0 maybe. Nottingham Forest, they're a good enough side to be in the Prem, I would say, but other clubs were just getting better. making constant upgrades to the first team, to adding to the depth of the squad. Nottingham Forest just coming up. I reckon it will take them a couple more seasons of being a yo-yo club to then like fully submerge themselves in with the top half of the Prem or bottom half of the Prem, but still remaining outside of relegation. So yeah, either 1-1 or 2-1. I'm probably going to fixate on a 1-1. Don't think Nottingham Forest have enough in them to pull it back and bring home 3 points like they did with the Hammers, but every possibility because they did beat West Ham in the end. Okay, on to the next one. We have Leicester City versus Southampton. Now, Leicester City, they didn't look all too promising in the game against my club, the Arsenal. They did. No, I reckon the Saliba goal is what got them going. The own goal from Saliba, which it's just a shame, really. I mean, he's not been there long enough to have that communication, but you could tell that he wasn't really affected by it. Like, the fans were backing him all the way. You know, it was great stuff from both the players and the fans after that own goal. No one was really on Saliba's back about scoring an own goal, but they were more supportive of him. You know, he's not played for Arsenal before. Like, this is his first season. He's playing in an Arsenal shirt for the first team. Even the second team, I don't think he played. I think we signed him and then loaned him straight out. I cannot remember. But, I mean, as I say, Leicester didn't look all that promising, and I reckon the Saliba goal is what sparked their attack. James Maddison, Jamie Vardy, all of that to really go in. Because at that point, that own goal made it 3-1. Then I think it went to 4-1. And then James Maddison scored a goal that Ramsdale should really have been saving. But at the end of the day, we came home with 3 points and they left with nothing. And their opponents are Southampton, who drew with Leeds at home. They drew 2-2 last weekend. I don't know, man. I mean, Southampton, they look good enough. They looked better last season after going on a good run of winning games. Us included in that lot, 3-0. But something about me says that Leicester at home is a different animal to Leicester away, which is why I've gone Leicester 2, Southampton 1. I reckon Leicester are good enough to get the 3 points. If not, then it will be a draw, because I just don't see Southampton winning that game. And the next game, Fulham versus Brentford. Let's talk about Brentford. Oh my days. Landslide victory for them last weekend at home, I believe it was. Yeah, at home. Last weekend against Man United. You can just say that that's embarrassing for United, man. They're supposed to be a top 6 club and they're losing to you could say, newly promoted side in Brentford from last season. But I guess that just goes to show that Brentford they're threatening. I mean, like, they're definitely mid-table material. They're not one of those clubs that are going to be in the relegation battle this season, I don't think. They look decent. Brentford, they look solid this season. I'm very happy that my brother's team got smashed. But that's kind of all I've got to say for Brentford, really. I mean, they did well on the opening day, or their first game of the season. And then their second game of the season against Man United, they absolutely obliterated them. So, you know what? Fair dues to Brentford. Now, on to Fulham, who, away from home, drawing to a club with Premier League experience like Wolves. You can say that's an achievement, and then drawing with Liverpool as well. Also a big achievement. But you have to say that they they're not looking like they're winning. But when you're drawing to teams like Liverpool, like Wolves, that have that Premier League experience, one of them being more of a top side, yeah, but then I would say it's more of them just trying to find their feet, find their footing. Um, Obviously, you'd expect Wolves to beat Fulham, as I've already mentioned. However, neither team was good enough in the end. But here, I've gone with a 2-2 draw for the game at Craven Cottage. I reckon Mitrovic will probably score 2, because, well, I mean, he's a machine at the moment. He's done very, very well at the start of this Premier League season for Fulham. And same with Brentford. They've done very, very well. I just don't see either team really being better than one another. I think they're like right there as one will score, the next will score, another will score, then they'll score, and then they'll have like this constant back and forth battle. But neither team will be good enough to grab all 3 points. On to Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. This game being played at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace's ground. Can't say I'm expecting anything huge from either team here, so I'm gonna keep it simple, 1-1 draw. I mean, Palace, they're all right, but when you're playing against someone like Aston Villa, who's quite on par with you, don't really think you're gonna get anywhere. You're not. Neither team's like this. Match day 3 is basically neither team's going to be better than the other. Crystal Palace are coming off a draw with Liverpool. Aston Villa are coming off a 2-1 win with Everton. But I mean, it's similar situations. Like Palace, they could beat Everton 2-1, and then Aston Villa, at Liverpool's form right now, could probably draw with Liverpool. So they're fairly on par with each other. Don't think, as I've already mentioned multiple times, because as I've already said, match day 3 is just constant. One will try to be better than the other, but neither team can push to that level to be better by 1 goal to get all 3 points. So yeah, just a 1-1 draw, man. I don't think either team good enough just yet, anyway. I mean, that could change later in the season. Patrick Vieira, of course, ex-Gunner, doing very well as manager at Palace, but does need to buck up his game if he's trying to challenge for Europe. Don't know if he is, but I've heard that he is looking for a top 7 finish. Same with Aston Villa, as they want top 7. So you would imagine that this game is going to be a fight between who can get the early edge to a top 7 finish. Next game we have Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Now, Bournemouth's matchday 2 game against Manchester City, 4-0 at the Etihad. It's Bournemouth, Manchester City at home. It's to be expected. I mean, Bournemouth, they still look good in matchday 1. By their squad, it looks fairly decent. I can't really manipulate any of it or try and make any of it seem bad, because it genuinely is looking very, very strong. But when you come up against the Premier League champions, the giants that are Manchester City, with Erling Haaland up front, you have a bit of a problem. With Arsenal, we have Jesus and Mohamed. I mean, not much more to say. I would say 4-0 to Arsenal, but knowing Arsenal is we're probably going to concede a goal. It'll probably be a silly goal, whether it's an own goal, whether it's a Ramsdale doesn't catch the ball and it gets dropped off into one of the opposing team's attackers that just taps it in. I don't know, but I've gone 4-1 to Arsenal, which gives us a perfect start to the season. All 3 games, maximum points. Next up, we have West Ham versus Brighton at the London Stadium. West Ham, they're coming off a loss with Nottingham Forest. And Brighton are coming off a draw with Newcastle. I reckon though that West Ham, they're West Ham. They're significantly better than Brighton in terms of who they have in the squad. But in terms of form right now, Brighton looks stronger. But this is the Premier League. Things can change very, very quickly. However, I'm going to keep it safe. I've gone 2-1 West Ham. I reckon Brighton will probably open the scoring, but that will probably just make West Ham click, and then they'll just come counter-attack, goal, counter-attack, play it from the back, down the wing, cross it in, goal, something like that. The way West Ham play. Next up, we have Leeds United versus Chelsea. Chelsea playing away, being the away side, always very much harder to play and win a game away from home. But coming off a draw against Spurs, you would say that they are prepared for a team like Leeds, who aren't the best, but they are Premier League worthy. I mean, this could always end in a draw for Chelsea. This could always end in a loss for Chelsea. But I have, again, kept it safe, and I've gone 3-1 Chelsea. I reckon Chelsea, they are better in attack with Sterling, Havertz, and whoever else they have up front. I don't really pay attention to Chelsea. They look like they could really put 3 goals in the back of the net against Leeds. And Leeds being Leeds in the format they are at the moment, they probably will pull one back. Next up, we have Newcastle versus Man City. This being played at St James's Park in Newcastle, of all places, wouldn't you believe it? I've gone 4-1 Man City. Again, just one of those games where you're playing away from home. The energy, the atmosphere, it gets to you. I think Mikel Arteta has said that when they went to Anfield, when he was playing for the Arsenal, before he retired, when he went to Anfield, he said the atmosphere was so overwhelming that they ended up going to lose that game. So I reckon Manchester City, although they won't lose it, I reckon they will concede 1 or 2 goals, just because of how supportive the Geordies fans are. But Newcastle being Newcastle, sorry to all of you, but I'm going 4-1 Man City. I reckon it will be a dominant game from the Premier League champions against Newcastle, but every chance, as I've said, Premier League, things can change very, very quickly. Now then, on to the game that everyone wants to hear. Manchester United versus Liverpool. Both clubs not being on a great run of form recently at the start of this season. Obviously, Man United coming off a loss against a 4-0 loss against Brentford, and Liverpool coming off a 1-1 draw against Palace at Anfield. I mean, I originally predicted Liverpool to win this 3-1, but I'm probably going to change it to 2-2, just because Liverpool have not got Nunez up front. But Man United, they're still Man United. I don't think they're going to pick up their form until at least December. Might sound long, but then you've got January, February, March, April, May. So still 5 months of the Prem left to try and recover. And obviously we do have the World Cup in between, which, who knows, that might make them even worse. and we could actually see Manchester United go down. But yeah, I've gone 2-2 for that game at Old Trafford. Liverpool, they're not the team that we all know that were challenging for the title right up till last match, last season against Man City. When I say that, I mean they were challenging for the top. You get what I mean. But Man United last season, their form started to drop off, but we all thought that they would like ricochet back and like ping themselves back up into where they need to be, and they haven't. They've gotten worse. So that game at Old Trafford is going to be a 2-2 draw for me. Anyways, guys, that's been me, Jayden from Tetra Football. Hopefully I'll get back with the guys very soon, and this 2 weeks just flies by, because it's just genuinely better, all 5 of us sitting there, minding our own business, having a chit-chat, doing what we do, chat about football, supporting our clubs, doing all of this, giving you guys some content to watch when you're having a lazy day in bed, maybe, whatever it may be. Like, we enjoy being around together. So yeah, as I say, hopefully these 2 weeks go by very quickly and I can get back with the guys as soon as possible, because that's been me. And yeah, remember to like, remember to subscribe, to check the links down in the description, because we have a Discord now that you should 100% join. You can chat with myself, you can chat with Tom, Ryan, Joe and George, all on that Discord server. The Instagram link will be there, the TikTok link will be there, links will be there. Check it out. I would also say there'll be a couple video links there as well, just for you to go watch, maybe in case this video isn't good enough for you and you need a little bit more. There'll be some links to videos that I would recommend, and I'll talk to the guys, see which ones they recommend as well. But yeah, this has been me with my Premier League Matchday 3 predictions. Hope you enjoyed, hope you come back. And yeah, remember, every little helps.